It's easy to look up one day and think that, wow, it feels like I've been living the same story over and over again. It's easy to look up one day and say, my goodness, like, even though I've been in a different relationship, it seems like I've been in the same relationship over and over again. And at some point, a person has to pause and think to themselves, how do I stop this loop of bad habits that I have? How do I stop this loop of patterns of behavior that continue to put me in the same situation? Well, the very first thing that you would have to do is become accountable. That would take for you to be able to step back and realize that it's not people doing anything to you. It's not the world doesn't like you. It's not that you're just bad luck. It's that you have been making a certain pattern of behaviors, or you have been having a certain pattern of thoughts about yourself, or you have a certain pattern of habits, and they have just been reaping you the same results over and over and over again. The first thing that you can do, and the best thing for you to do, is to become aware of this. Your awareness shines a light on the situation, and once you shine a light on a situation, it's very hard to go backwards and act like you don't see it for what it is anymore. So any bad habits that I've ever had in my life, when I notice them, I began to observe myself and how I interact with them. So let's say for relationships, for example, let's say I have the habit of dating the same kind of person. So now I must begin to observe within myself, what is it about myself that is attracted to a person like this, or to put myself in a situation like this, because the people may seem different, but the situation can be the same. It's just like if you have the bad habit of, let's say you don't like to clean your room. Every time that you want to clean your room because you see your room is a mess, right? That's the awareness. How do you move to the next step of actually cleaning your room, right? You have to begin to observe your relationship between how you think about cleaning your room and then the room actually being clean. What will it take for me to actually clean the room? The first part of it, thinking about your relationship with you and the room, now you can start to look at, well, when I think about how I want to clean the room, it makes me feel anxious, or it makes me feel like it's too much work. It makes me feel like I don't know where to start. And those are good observations to have. Those are great observations to have. And once you have those observations, you can take it to the next step. And the next step, outside of the awareness of it, the observation of it, is action. The action part of it tends to be the most difficult part, because sometimes when you put forth action to change yourself from something that you used to be, it puts you in a very uncomfortable situation. It puts you in a position where you've probably never been there before. Let's say your room has always been dirty and you are just sick of yourself. You've reached that level of awareness where you realize you don't want to be this kind of person anymore. You don't want to be in this kind of situation anymore. Now you have to begin to study and figure out the actions that go behind being a different kind of person. To be completely honest with you all, when I was changing and releasing old habits from my life and just becoming a better person, I literally had to go on YouTube. I literally had to research how to do it, because I did not know the skills that it took to be the kind of person that I wanted to be. I did not have the example of it in my personal life, like with my parents or this or that. I didn't have a role model. And so I had to actually go, like, I went on YouTube, I went on Google, and so how to become a better person, what kind of skills does a successful woman have, what kind of mindset does a healed person have. Like, I would literally ask these questions. So do not think that there are any stupid questions. If you do not know how to be a better person, if you do not know how to be the better version of yourself, you have to get help. Like, and I'm not saying you have to go to a therapist, because you can help yourself. All you have to do is begin to ask questions. That we have these great devices where we have access to so much information. I'm not saying build a relationship with AI, but AI is a good tool to use. And you can ask a lot of questions and begin to figure out the skills that you need to have to become the person that you desire and release those bad habits and those bad patterns in your life. And another thing that is very important when you are trying to release old habits and become a new person is sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. Like, sometimes you have to pretend like you have it all together, and sometimes you have to pretend like you've always been this kind of person. Like, it's very important when you're on the path of becoming a better person that you almost forget that person that you used to be, that you don't want to be anymore. I know people may be like, oh, you switched up, oh, you're acting different, or this or that. Maybe now you need to get some new friends. If you want to release old habits, there may be a lot of things that you have to release, not just the old habits. You might have to let go of old friends. You might have to let go of places that you used to like to go. You might have to change up a lot of things about yourself. And that is okay, because in that process, you are getting closer to becoming that person that you want to be. And so, yeah, what I used to do, I used to have to look up how to be this kind of person that I wanted to be. I had to fake it till I made it. I had to pretend like I had those skills until I actually had those skills. And then I had to understand that if I want to be a different person, it will take for me to be consistent in this new me that I'm becoming. It would take for me to have a set, like a mindset of discipline that I've never had before. And so it was extremely uncomfortable at first. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And with you doing that, in that process, you will be able to open the door to this version of yourself that maybe you never thought that you could be, but it was always there for you to be this person. You just had to let go of those old habits and stop identifying with things that you no longer want to identify with. If you don't want to be that person with the dirty room, clean your room. You don't know how to clean your room? Look up a video. How do I clean my room? How do I organize my room? How do I make my room better so that I can have a more open mind when I look at my room? How do I make my room look clean? And then you need to just start copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Start looking up and following the people who have the skills and have the life that you want to live, and start copying them. Of course, don't try to be the same person that they are. Do it your way. But those people got to where they got because they had the skills to get there, because they had the discipline, and because they had the consistency. And so that is basically all you have to do. When you want to release old habits and you want to become a better person, you need to identify, first of all, become aware that that is what you want to do. And then you need to fake it till you make it. You need to copy paste, just follow the people that you see and begin to implement these things in your life little by little and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And before you know it, you're going to look up and you're going to be like, wow, I'm exactly who I want to be.